inside me. This is how legends are made.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Mission Focused Mindset. We're here again doing the virtual Zoom. We thought the audio came out really good last time, so that's a bonus.
Oh yeah.
The video is looking a little rough on my end using that laptop webcam. I know Ronnie's got that higher quality one. But no, today we wanted to dive into what we've been talking about a lot recently that we would be doing, and that's our new kind of training program. Is a little bit of a hybrid between performance, hypertrophy, getting some good strength gains, going to be jumping to the moon. So yeah, we're going to dive into specifically one of our accessory days that we've been doing and talk about how that was going. Also some tweaks that we're making to it going forward, and just kind of give you maybe a little general rundown of how the program's going and some of the ins and outs, the whys and what's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So just to preface this a little bit, so we're going to dive into doing Saturday, right? Talking about what we're doing on Saturdays right now.
Yeah. Switching some things up, just making some tweaks. I guess let's just hop into it. So overall, now that we've been a month in, about 4 sessions on the Saturday workout, what did you think? What are some things you really liked of the split, and what are some things you either didn't like and got to get rid of, or just want to switch up to make sure we're hitting everything in the full package throughout the week and tying everything in?
Yeah, so what Saturday was for us previously was a really fun workout. And the reason we're changing it is just because there's some things I want to work in, like specifically back.
Right.
Even though it's really fun work. So what we were doing, for everybody that is listening, we were doing quads, biceps, calves on Saturday.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome, fun workout. We're doing Bulgarian split squats. We're doing some super brutal quad extensions. And then we moved in, we had 2 different calf raise variations and 2 movements for biceps. So I really liked that because some of those movements, like the Bulgarian split squats, you have the ability to load up with more weight when you're doing them fresh.
Yeah.
But that's not something I really ever got to do with previous splits, because I was always having them as movement later in the workout when I'd already squatted or done some super hard leg press. So that's something I've loved about the Saturdays in particular, is being able to go really hard on the Bulgarian split squats. And then obviously the quad extensions. Between those two, I mean, my glutes from the Bulgarian split squats along with my quads, I mean, both the glutes and quads are working a lot in that.
Yeah.
And the quads from the quad extensions, because we're doing 3 sets, basically. So picking a weight that's about, we can max out at 15 reps. Basically, you're forcing yourself to do 25 reps before you get off that machine. So it's brutal.
I really like this day too, though, because it's just a way to really force a lot of extra volume in that there's just no way, if that was on like a normal leg day, that we'd be able to come even close to, in terms of like the volume in terms of pounds that we're able to use. Like, I don't know about, but I jumped up week by week. I jumped up basically 10 full pounds in terms of the dumbbells I was using on the split squats. And we started hitting, like, it was a struggle to hit 6 to 8 the first week. We finished I had to do mine today. It should have been yesterday, but
I actually did mine today too.
I was able to get 10 reps every set with 20 pounds more than the week we started. So I was getting like 3 to 4 extra reps with 20 pounds more of weight. So 60 pounds more a set, 60 to 80 pounds more a set of just volume each leg. So I think the growth, and I want to push those as long as we can. Maybe we add pauses in, we can do some full variations with it, but I think we could get a lot out of that. And I think it's going to help, like you said, it lit your glutes up. I feel it pumps my quads up. Like my teardrop wants to cramp up during and even during the rest, but then later in the day is when I really feel it in the glute. And I think that's going to carry over big time into us getting out of the hole on our squat and helping us lock out our deadlift a little bit too. But I think we'll get some good growth out of it too if we're able to keep ramping up the weight that we use.
Yeah, and so same thing. I've been jumping up in weight. I don't know if you looked at the notes I put in today, but ran out of weight at the home
There you
gym.
go.
So
Good.
I just did. So I jumped up like to the max I used last week, basically for my third set, the max I used. I used that for both sets 2 and 3 for 10 reps. Um, so yeah, I love pushing those hard and would love to keep those in the workout as a higher energy priority.
Yeah.
And another thing I like about them, compared to some other big movements for legs, they're usually dumping a lot of energy into, is that these are unilateral.
Right.
So it helps to highlight some of those imbalances or just anything that may be different from side to side.
Yeah.
So I've been liking it for that reason, helping me focus on not just getting the weight up, but you're trying to make those specific muscles work. So when it's feeling different from side to side, I can make those tweaks and know, like, even just like little mental cues to myself, like, okay, I should be squeezing them this way a little more. And I'm sure that stuff is going to help for like preventing hip shift, like out of the whole squat, stuff like that. So
Yeah, I think it's going to help you for sure correct that hip shift, because with split squats, especially as you're getting like closer to that 10 rep range and 8, 9, 10, when your quads fatiguing out, I don't know about you, but I can really feel like the glute turn on and stabilize in the bottom. And then I'm really focused on driving through and using my glute to finish the rep. But I think if you can build that connection, it will help you a lot, not shift as much when we're squatting.
yeah, that's the nice thing. What's been nice about it is that I'm just loving the split squats because I can very consciously focus in the quad or the glute or the combination of it when obviously you're throwing a lot of weight on. It's like you can't just have the quad do the work. You can't just do the glute do the work. You gotta use them in unison. But there's again, like the biases that can come out. So this is good for highlighting them and then showing a clear path as to what you can do to correct them.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then we would from there roll to the quad extensions, again the calf raises and the bicep curls, 2 different variations. And yeah, so it's been a really good day. There's no complaints about this day. But I do see it's a day that makes for some availability to add some stuff that I think was getting a little neglected through the week as far as prioritization and being able to have a lot of energy to push on that. And that's with the back work. So I'd love to be able to throw in, because right now, just to kind of fill everybody in on the split, it's Monday, it's max effort upper, Tuesday is max effort lower. So on that Monday, we're doing a lot of pushing. That Tuesday, we're doing different leg movements for the max effort lower. And then we do have some back throwing at the end of it. I just find when I get to that, and I don't know how you feel, I'm too smoked to get out what I need to from those particular back movements. And then we got Wednesday accessories, then Thursday, Friday are speed upper and lower. So and then the Friday we have a little bit back at the end of that. That's kind of the same story. So
I think if we keep back in on those 2 days, but almost as like accessories, because they are machine movements too. They're not very compound movements for the back in terms of like pull downs, maybe pull ups, but we do like a lat bar pull down or something, or like a cable row. But where it comes to Saturday, if we take the biceps out, like we were talking about, and move those in somewhere else, we definitely have, after the split squats, like my glutes are fried, but I definitely have enough in me to hammer out some heavy rows or like a barbell row or a dumbbell row variation, something like that.
Yeah, so that's what I'd love to do, is put the bicep movements from Saturday at the tail end of the workout on Friday. So that throws it behind our legs. And I mean, for one, we have our big accessory day on Wednesday. We're hitting shoulders, bis, and tris.
Yeah.
And I always get really good bicep work on that day.
Yeah.
And then it's throwing biceps at the end of Friday after that speed lower is going to require a lot less energy than trying to throw back at the end of it. So I feel comfortable throwing biceps at the end of Friday.
Yeah.
And then on Saturday, after the split squats, same story as you. My quads, glutes are fried, but I'm not like full body fried. So I'd love to hit at least some heavy row variation. It doesn't matter too much what it is. I
Right.
would like to definitely get the lats involved for that sort of row. I don't want to just isolate the lower back. I want to, get the big muscle groups working.
Yeah.
And then some kind of pull down variation would be great too, I think.
Okay.
And then, so I don't know, what do you think? Do you think we want to do 2 or 3 movements in there? We could toy around with it and see how much energy we have.
It depends. So I'm surprised the split squats or the Bulgarian split squat, it has not stressed my low back at all. And I don't know if it's just the way that we've structured the workout. Our low backs are just getting that much stronger, maybe from that close stance, like AMRAP squats we do earlier in the week. It's just building up the erectors enough. But whatever it is, like my back's not really fried after. So, and I'm using the straps when we're doing the split squats once I work up to my working sets just to keep my grip strength fresh. So I would be cool possibly 3 movements. Maybe we have some type of like barbell row or chest supported row in there. And then I really love that double arm like cable row that we've done a few times where we lean back slightly either on a bench or box. And then something like a pull down or something to hit the lats and the width a little bit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so it's how about we throw 3 movements in there then? So some kind of, and we could just see what we're feeling, like what our particular favorite big row movements are.
Yeah.
But I feel like some kind of big row. Now there is with like say like a bent over barbell row versus something like a like some kind of seated row where you can kind of keep your torso upright or maybe a tad lean forward to get the lats involved. You're
Yeah.
going to use lats in barbell row too, but it's like at a different angle relative to your torso.
Right.
So we can.
What if we do those forward like low cable rows?
Yeah, so I'd like something like that, or like even going to like kind of a vertical torso, but like not a ton of like leaning back.
Yeah.
That starts to throw more upper back, more traps into play.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but that's just not the goal I want to work towards with this specific movement. I'd love to really hit the lats and then kind of like the stabilize the muscles that go along with that. I mean, you're going to use some trap and some rhomboid to move that scapula around a little bit.
Right.
But the lats will be like the big mover of your humerus and stuff. So and pull a lot of weight with it. Because I just have on top of my mind, it might be cable rows for me. I love doing that one Nautilus seated row.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. And then so like those would be some good options.
For those, I'm thinking too, just to get volume in, and we could put this in the notes. So maybe like 5 sets, 2 warm-up sets though, and then 3 actual heavy working sets.
Yeah, I'd like to. So what? It goes right along with what you said there, but personally for stuff like this, I'll love to do kind of a pyramid structure to the exercise. So like you said, the first set is I wouldn't make it extremely light.
Right.
If I need to have like something where it's just like literally getting the body moving, I usually don't even. I might put it in the notes as like I did a warm up, but I never count it in like my actual set structure. It's just kind of like what I need to do to get to my first set.
Right.
But yeah, I would start the first set off. You're not gonna be like going to failure with it.
Yeah.
I think 5 sets sounds good. That's pretty good number. And I'd probably do like set number 1. It's going to be a working, I'd say like almost all of them are pretty much working sets.
Yeah.
Start off set number 1, you're not going to failure. Set number 2, you're not going to failure. Set number 3, I'd almost say like set number 3 and 4 might be sets going to failure, might be some drop sets in there. And then maybe set number 5 could be a back off set
Okay.
where you're might go to failure again, but you're going to hit higher ups with a little lighter weight.
And focus on that mind muscle connection.
Yeah. Focus on getting some really good form if you had to get a few cheat reps in for the sets to failure.
Yeah.
But yeah, this should be, these rows I'd really like to kind of annihilate as much as we can. There's like as much stimulation, as much tension in the muscle, really make use of it. So, but yeah, pyramid sets up like that. Maybe the first couple sets not to failure, then getting some really vicious sets.
Yeah.
I think that'd work really good for us and give us really the high intensity, high energy back work we need in the split. Yeah. So, and I think that, and then I don't think that'll smoke us too much for like a lat pull down or some kind of pull down movement. It could even be pull ups, but something working in that plane of motion.
Yeah. The only thing I have with pull ups, I don't know how the grip will be after the Bulgarian split squats and the rows. I know I'm okay after the split squats, but after the rows, if I push those all out, I don't know how my forearms will be. I don't think I'll get enough reps on pull ups to really get like the hypertrophy I want.
Okay. What about would like a lat pull down variation be better? And then you can get pretty good squeeze on it. You could throw straps on. I don't know how easy it is with the straps you use, but throwing straps on some sort of lat pull down movement.
Yeah, I think that, and try to overload. Are we looking for overload there too, and just fighting the weight up, or more so really controlling and get a squeeze?
I think it'd be honestly. So I'd love to for 2 movement. Like I'd love to push these 2 movements really hard. So like kind of do the same idea as the rows.
I like that too.
So I'd love to hit like really high intensity rows, really high intensity lat pull downs.
Yeah.
And
almost like we did in your garage a few weeks ago, where like we're cheating so much. One of us is pushing the bar down, but we're really letting the weight pull our lats and our arm up.
Yeah, and I think like for
I would like that.
For those like in that 5 set structure, how I mentioned, maybe like those first 2 sets, they're working sets, but they're not like till failure.
Yeah.
Then maybe that 3-4 set range, hit some really brutal stuff. There might be some cheat reps in there. But if you've established that muscle mind connection and you're able to still make that muscle work, it's just basically get it to the brink of what it can handle. And then your body just helps cheat a little bit of what it can't. So yeah, I do think that. So one thing with that, like I love the style of it. We'll have to be very conscious of tracking it week to week, because you could change up how much you're cheating, and that's kind of a little more subjective than objective.
Right.
So we'll just have to keep it real with ourselves when we're tracking that for our workouts, and not get down if we get less weight just because we didn't cheat as much.
Yeah. For the third movement, how would you feel about either a single arm or like a rope attachment, almost like the straight arm pull down, and focus more on that stretch?
Yeah, I don't mind something like that. That could be good.
Not like a cool down. We'll still put some good work in there, but it's not as much stress. But we could really be mindful of the stretch and then the squeeze on every rep with that.
Right. Something that kind of cooked out a lot of our high energy work by that point in the workout, probably. So just getting a little extra work, a little extra blood in there. Yeah, I think something like that
Okay.
would be good. So trying to think of I mean the straight arm pull downs, I've got no issue with that.
And we could change grips throughout the week with that too. We could definitely adjust like the variables with that, either using like the ropes, a
Mhm.
straight bar, a single handle. So
Right.
we could definitely switch it up so we're not plateauing with that either.
Right. Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea. Those three should be good. The other thing I had in mind, so now with the Tuesday,
Yeah.
which is the other day, we have a little bit of back at the end of the workout, at the
Yep.
end of the max effort lower. As far as like the day spacing goes, I would love to have a little bit of back in there too. But I'd like to make, like, we have 2 movements in there now, I believe.
Yeah.
And I would love to keep 2 movements in there, but just make both of them the same idea as our third exercise on Wednesday or on Saturday, sorry.
Okay.
So both things that aren't super dependent on us dumping a ton of energy into, because honestly, just at the end of my Tuesday workout, when I get to that point, I don't have a ton of energy.
Right.
So I think something that can give us some quality work that we can put some quality intensity into that doesn't require extreme amounts of energy that we don't have at that point in the workout.
Yeah.
I'm open to your ideas. One thing I had thought about was some sort of reverse fly, but or actually no, here's a good idea. Is at the end of the Friday workout right now, we've got
Yeah.
some of those chest supported rows more for the upper back,
Yeah.
the high elbow drive.
Yeah.
And that's an exercise you can load up heavy and kind of get some cheats, but it's to me very effective when you don't cheat it and just use the muscles. And you don't have to go super heavy on it to get a lot out of it.
Right.
How do you feel throwing those guys at the end of Tuesday?
And keep them on Friday or take them out of Friday?
So we take
Yeah.
all back out of Friday and just have the biceps there, right?
Yeah.
So moving all back from Friday to Saturday and biceps from Saturday to Friday.
Yeah.
Basically
Yeah.
swapping
And
the back and biceps.
some shoulders there too.
Yeah. Friday we got some shoulders at the end as well.
Yeah, but that's not too bad.
Yeah, I felt good with that because I just use it as just get the little extra blood pumping in there. And honestly, the upright rows working on. I like focusing. I don't like trying to isolate the delts with those, although
Right.
there are big movers. Since we talked about this before, and the intent using that with the intent to work the traps a lot,
Yeah.
I get a
You
lot
want
out of it with that. I like that.
I
So,
think it can add good shape, but good thickness and just more structure to our upper back. So when we're deadlifting and everything, we can stay tight because a lot of people, they're like that thoracic area is going to get very weak fast, especially because our legs and our low back is going to keep coming up. We just got to make sure that we're keeping like the smaller stuff. It's getting hit with enough weight and enough volume to
yeah,
not be a weak point.
yeah. So yeah, I'd love to have those. Going back to the Tuesday, I'd love to have those chest support dumbbell rows
Yeah.
in there. Have that upper back.
Yeah.
The traps, rhomboids, stuff like that. Rear delts a little bit in there. And then I am open to what else you want. We could do some kind of lat pull down variation, but a little stricter form, maybe a little lighter, a little less dependent on the high effort we're putting on Saturday. Could do that, or could do like a single arm pull down with like a cable handle.
Yeah. Let's do that. And
Okay.
really maybe keep him like the elbow more out in front a little bit.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, cool.
Here, let me switch that right now.
I think that'll be good for back.
Yeah. Then we're hitting all angles too.
Right. And we do have the reverse dumbbell flies in on our accessory day, which is
Yeah.
we have it there primarily for the rear delts, but you're using your back for that motion as well, pulling the scapulas together. So we're not specifically trying to isolate one or the other.
Yeah,
Really
yeah, our
working both.
upper back too, just from like the deadlifts and everything, that's all going to get hit, especially this week when we change the range of motion. So
Okay, great.